Just when you thought you had heard the last about tariffs, more tariffs come marching through the door. That's where we're starting the 7 from the Washington Post. I'm Hannah Jewell. It's Friday, August 1st. Let's get you caught up with today's 7 stories. President Trump signed executive orders increasing tariffs on around 70 countries. Today was meant to be Trump's self-imposed deadline for a previous set of tariffs that were announced in April to take effect. But yesterday, he announced he was escalating his global trade war even further. A particular target this time is Canada. Our neighbor to the north announced this week it was preparing to recognize a Palestinian state. Trump said that would make it very hard to reach a trade deal. And now Canada is facing a 35% tariff rate starting today. Trump expressed his complicated feelings for Canada at a news conference at the White House yesterday.
Look, we like Canada. I love Canada. I have so many friends in Canada. But they've been very poorly led. They've been very, very poorly led.
For the rest of the world, new tariffs will kick in next week, except for countries that have already reached trade deals with the U.S. Mexico and China, meanwhile, got their deadlines kicked down the road. Trump's hope is that tariffs will help revitalize domestic manufacturing by discouraging Americans from buying foreign products. But reversing more than 3 decades of global economic integration is no small task. Number 2 is a Post exclusive. The Smithsonian removed Trump references from an impeachment exhibit. Last month, some key information was removed from the Smithsonian's National Museum of American History in Washington, D.C. They were references to President Trump's 2 impeachments. Since September 2021, a temporary label with content about those impeachments had been part of an exhibit. But after a content review following pressure from the Trump White House, the display returned to the way it appeared in 2008. After the Post published this story yesterday, the Smithsonian said that a future and updated exhibit will include all impeachments. But the change will fuel broader concerns about how an institution charged with preserving American history and telling the nation's story is being influenced by the Trump administration. Trump has a unique place in American history. He is the only president to have been impeached twice. Number 3. Some Democrats are feeling uneasy about Kamala Harris's return to the spotlight. The 2024 Democratic presidential nominee appeared on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert last night. She was there to promote her upcoming book, which she announced yesterday. She also used the appearance to praise former President Joe Biden and to paint a dire picture of U.S. democracy.
We designed our democracy with 3 independent, co-equal branches of government. I mean, when you see that the President of the United States is trying to get rid of the Department of Education, and Congress has the role and responsibility to stand in the way of that, and they're just sitting on their hands and then they go on recess because they don't want to deal with transparency?
Earlier this week, Harris announced that she will not run for California governor next year. That leaves the door open for another potential presidential run in 2028. But some Democrats aren't so hot on the idea. Many are eager to turn the page on their 2024 losses. But their central figures from the last election keep stepping back into the spotlight. And that's complicating the party's efforts to forge a new identity. Number 4. Top Trump officials will visit Gaza today. The White House announced yesterday that Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee will travel inside the war-torn territory. They will inspect food distribution sites and develop a plan to get more aid to civilians. Outrage has been growing in the U.S. and worldwide over mass starvation in Gaza, which is under an Israeli blockade. More countries, including Canada, as I mentioned before, are trying to pressure Israel by planning to formally recognize a Palestinian state. But the destruction of Gaza and the proliferation of Israeli settlements in the West Bank are putting the possibility of Palestinian statehood further and further out of reach. Number 5. Wildfire smoke and unhealthy air are set to spread to eastern states today. Yesterday, air quality alerts covered much of Minnesota, all of Iowa, Wisconsin, Michigan, and parts of surrounding states. They were caused by the latest round of wildfire smoke wafting south from Canada. Minneapolis and Chicago made it into the top 3 large cities for worst air quality around the world. Detroit wasn't far behind at number 6. Today, the smoke is expected to spread east. It may impact the northeast U.S. in the coming days. If it weren't for the smoke, many places would be enjoying unusually pleasant late summer weather. If smoke is hitting your city, you should avoid going outside if possible. We have more tips on how to protect yourself in our newsletter. Find that in our show notes. Medicaid and Medicare plan to experiment with covering weight loss drugs. That's number 6. Americans on Medicare and Medicaid could soon get access to expensive GLP-1 drugs. The Trump administration is planning a 5-year experiment. It will apply to state Medicaid programs and Medicare Part D insurance plans. These plans will be able to voluntarily choose to cover Ozempic and similar drugs for patients for weight management purposes. Medicare currently mainly covers the drugs for people with type 2 diabetes. The experiment will run for 5 years, starting in April for Medicaid and in 2027 for Medicare. The plan signals that the Trump administration is open to broadly covering the drugs. And at number 7, scientists discovered a lightning strike that was 515 miles long. In 2017, a lightning bolt struck the southern U.S. that lit up an area 5 times greater than the size of Massachusetts. Scientists revealed the discovery yesterday after reanalyzing satellite data. It's the biggest strike ever recorded. Really big lightning strikes are called megaflashes. They emerge from sprawling storm clusters that have big horizontal areas of electric charge. This one came from a large thunderstorm complex that spanned from near Dallas to just east of Kansas City, Missouri. And the megaflash also produced 64 bolts that struck the ground. If you'd like to see a satellite image of this truly impressive strike, you can find it in our newsletter today. That's the show for this week. The associate producer of The Seven is Taylor White. The staff writers are me and Jamie Ross. John Taylor is our editor. Special thanks this week to Aisha Ghani and Rennie Spernovsky. Additional editing by Christina Quinn. Copy editing is by Melissa No and Thomas Haliba. Mixing and sound design is by Jim Briggs and Justin Garish. Our theme music is by Edith Mudge. Renita Jablonski is our director of audio. I'm Hannah Jewell. Thanks for listening and have a great weekend. I'll meet you back here on Monday.